Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Political Talks JB. I am your host, Julian Boykin, and today I am joined by Mr. Zach Servis, who is running for mayor of Jackson, Mississippi, my home state. Zach, thank you for joining me. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm very good. I'm glad to be here tonight.
So let's jump right into it. When it comes to corruption, Jackson has had his fair share with elected officials and corruptions. What as the next mayor of Jackson, if you're voted as the next mayor of Jackson, what will you do as far as upholding the principles of a mayor and making sure that no corruption is taking place, not just at your position, but other elected officials as well?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there's a few things I'm going to be doing to make sure that we fight corruption and that we make sure that it's not able to stay in our city administration. So first is by not being corrupt. So I have a little something called integrity and a little bit of a duty to the God that I serve as a follower of Christ that I'm supposed to do what is right by God, whether someone's watching or not. So I already have an internal moral compass that tells me, Zach, there's certain stuff you just can't do. Whether it benefits you or not, you have to do what is right in every situation. But when it comes to practical applications as a city leader, as a mayor, one of the things that we're going to do to increase accountability is by having a forensic audit conducted when I step into office and by conducting the annual audits that we're supposed to be conducting every year that we are 2 years behind on, that we are supposed to be turning into the state auditor's office. So right then and there, we're going to be able to track down where our money has been going, where it's been spent, where it's been allocated, who's received it, and where it's gone. Then another thing is by complying with the open data policy that Jackson already has, but does not comply with in current city administration, and making sure that all data is accessible by the public and by the taxpayer. And on the website, we're going to create a mobile app where residents can access information on the website without having to log on to the actual website itself. I have a direct messaging feature in that app so they can text their city officials. Many people have hearing impairments and may not be able to make a phone call to talk and ask questions of their city councilman and of their mayor and his administration. Then getting rid of all these large no bid contracts, because right now we're giving contracts left and right in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it seems as if there's no open bidding process involved with it. And that's against our current laws and code of ordinances when it comes to how are we supposed to conduct bids on large dollar contracts. Because right now we're giving out contracts without a single bid in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. So those are just a few of very many solutions I have for stopping corruption. Another one is by creating a resident dashboard where you will actually be able to track projects, financial spending, and the timeline of city projects and repairs so that when something is said, okay, we're going to work on this road project, you get to track how's the money being spent on that project, what's the timeline on that project, when can I expect it to be done, who's doing the work, etc. And by another thing is putting city contracts on the website where they can be reviewed by residents in full instead of just throwing a council agenda online the last day before the council meeting to where no one has a chance to question or ask questions about those contracts. So these are just very simple, easy to do things that will really cost us almost $0, except for maybe the cost of setting up the mobile app and portal. But with just some simple steps, we can increase accountability and thus decrease the chance for corruption in a Zach Service administration.
So, as it relates to workforce development, economic development, the city of Jackson definitely, can every city can always use more jobs. More
Yes.
companies coming in, setting up shop. As Jackson's next mayor, what is your plan on increasing the workforce development for the city of Jackson?
Yeah, so first thing we got to do is stop taking bribes. Right now, a lot of companies and businesses won't do business with us because the mayor or someone in his administration is going to want something on the side. Someone on the city council is going to want something on the side in order to approve a project or approve tax credits or whatever it may be. Right now, there's a $2.8 million ARPA fund allocation for a tiny village project with 60 tiny homes to create permanent housing to help with our homelessness problem, led by Ptolemy White, who is the founder of the Jackson Resource Center that already does amazing work in the city. This money has been sitting for a very long time, years now. It's been approved, it's been allocated. The mayor will not release those funds to be used. They are trying to get her to take a smaller amount, and they are trying to see what they can do to put money into their pockets from that allocation. So, very simply put, we've got to make it easy to do business in the city of Jackson. No company that's bringing high paying jobs wants to deal with red tape and corruption. Right now, some business owners have had to wait up to 6 months just to renew their business license. That's unacceptable. Many electricians want to pull a permit, but they are required to not only have a state master's license as electrician, but the city created their own version of a license and a class you have to go through. This takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. I believe it carries a monetary cost as well, and it's redundant. It doesn't add any additional learning that is necessary to do electric work in the state of Mississippi. It was basically a screw you to the state for requiring a license at all. So that's something you're putting a burden on electricians who want to work in the city of Jackson. So I intend to get rid of that. That's ridiculous. If you've got a state master's license and you're complying with Jackson City building codes, we have no problem with you pulling a permit to do electric work in the city of Jackson. There are just so many things we can do. I intend to create business incentive zones where we offer tax credits, free or low cost surplus city properties that are owned by the city, or where we offer land from a land bank if we can ever get the state to work with us on creating a land bank and make it easy for a business that's bringing jobs and willing to commit to at least 5 years in the city, commit to 60% of their workforce hired from local Jacksonians and 25% of their management local Jacksonians, then we're going to be looking to incentivize them because that's going to be a long-term investment. I'm looking to do business with companies that will offer housing allowances or housing and transportation or vehicles to their residents, offer quality childcare. We're looking to incentivize companies that will go the extra mile to raise the standard for employment in the city of Jackson. Then for workforce development, there are already some amazing businesses like S. Woods Training Academy in South Jackson, Metro Boomin Academy. There's another one I'm just drawing blank on, but there are multiple businesses and residents that are hosting workforce development programs. I'm working on launching one for audio visual production, which is a huge need in the city. And it's a very lucrative business and event production here in the city, partnering with churches, partnering with event venues and concert venues and promotional companies to see how can we create internships and programs to get these people paid, and getting into the schools, opening internships and actual paid positions in city government where young people can get a job, where young people can get an education in civil policy and government, and be able to set themselves up for a career path here in Jackson instead of graduating school and going right to another state because there wasn't an opportunity for them here.
Well said. The water system, I know 2027, I believe, is the deadline as far as a decision from Judge Wingate.
Wingate. Yep.
And that water system, if Judge Wingate rules in favor of the city of Jackson, the water system will be returned to the city of Jackson along with a $20 million debt. As if elected as the next mayor of Jackson, what is your plan if Jackson is favored by Judge Wingate? What is your plan on repaying back that $20 million debt?
That's a great question. So right now, number one, we have to get our bill collection rate as close to 100% as possible. Before Jackson Water took over, the city of Jackson was estimating bills instead of having accurate water meters that told you exactly what a bill should be. There were leaks all over the city that were the responsibility of the city to fix that they would not fix, which led to many apartment complexes choosing not to pay the bill at all. We saw that with the issue of Chapel Ridge, where they still owe the city of Jackson $734,000 for the water bill. But at the same time, they're able to play this game because the city of Jackson didn't make repairs on things they should have made repairs on when the water system was under their control. So it made it easy to say, well, this is why we're not paying you. And now we have to spend more money in litigation to get them to pay money that they're never going to pay us. They're just going to leave. They're out of state firms, out of state property management companies and landlords. They have no vested interest in the city of Jackson. They just came here to carpetbag and hit a quick lick. So we have to realize that, first of all, if we want to pay down that debt, we have to start collecting all of the revenue. We have to make sure that the people in Bellhaven, we love our Bellhaven residents, but right now, for some odd reason, they're not paying the same amount that everyone else is. They're not paying the water availability charge like everyone else is. That's $40 extra on top of people's water bill. Then another thing is, instead of trying to sue Jackson Water, the city of Jackson, we have got to be partnering with them. Right now, even though all that federal funding came down, folks really don't have a clue how costly it is to repair the pipe infrastructure in the city. There's over 100 miles of pipeline that still needs to be replaced, and that's over a $500 million estimated cost, which is more than the $450 million that was allocated specifically for the infrastructure repairs. Then on top of that, the city's sewage system was given over to Jackson Water by Judge Wingate in 2023. So now they accepted a new responsibility with no new funding. And they've been having to do a lot of that work out of that $150 million of flexible funding. Then there's a $148 million of state appropriation funding that if the state doesn't appropriate money out of that, then Jackson Water doesn't get to use it for anything. It just sits there. So there's a lot more to this than, oh, Jackson Water got $800 million. Why isn't everything fixed? So not only do we have to make sure we fix the problems so that we're not leaking 3 times the water usage out of our pipes, so that we are efficient, so that every bill is being collected. But then we also have to make it an intentional plan and priority to pay off the debt. Right now, and this can segue if you have any questions about the roads and stuff, because right now the mayor brags about bringing securing a 40 something million-dollar bond in order to get money up front to pave roads. But the majority of those roads that they paved are already in disrepair again. North Mill Street is a perfect example of it because they didn't pave it right. They didn't oversee the work. They hired contractors instead of having city employees, so we didn't get the best rates on this. They used asphalt and cheap asphalt, mind you. They did not remove the Yazoo clay in most of these instances and replace it with better dirt. So you're still dealing with the sinkholes and with the water issues. They did not improve drainage, and they did not coordinate with Jackson Water to make sure that before we pave this whole mile of road, do you plan to come here and tear up some water mains and make pipe replacements? Because if that's the case, now we're spending money twice to fix the same problem, and it's still not going to be done right. And that's our tax money that is affected by that. So every time they got to raise rates, they're going to be looking at Jackson Water, but they're not the ones to blame. The negligence of the city is, and that's one of the things I tend to change. We're going to be intentional about paying back the debt, and we're going to be intentional about, instead of looking for more ways to take debt and get loans, we're going to look for ways to be efficient with the money we have, do things right the first time. By that, we'll be able to more easily step to the state and the federal government and request additional funding because they're going to trust that the money they give is going to be spent wisely and do what it was sent to do.
As it relates to crime for the city of Jackson, it was at an all-time high when I was growing up, and I can imagine that it's still at an all-time high. As someone who's running for mayor, what is your plan on dealing with the crime situation and making sure that the residents of Jackson can walk the streets at night knowing that they're a little bit safer?
Yeah, so focusing on crime, I have a multifaceted approach. One is on the policing and law enforcement side, the other is on the community involvement and youth intervention side, right? So on the policing side, we are not enforcing a majority of state laws that we could be. Most people are always blaming the state open carry laws for gun violence, but the fact of the matter is we could be enforcing the laws that are on the books. It is illegal to brandish a firearm if you're not shooting someone, if you're not pulling it out and showing it to initiate self-defense, right? It's illegal to just wave it. Don't matter if it's a camera shooting and you didn't get a permit for that. If none of that, showing up at a gas station and waving around. And let's just be clarify, most of these are not assault rifles. Although some of these folks have switches on these guns that make them automatic weapons, but they are rifles many times. They are guns that do have 20, 30 rounds, which can do a lot of damage in the hands of the wrong person. You know what I'm saying? And it's illegal to carry a firearm in your waistband or in your pocket or some other way that's not secured in a holster or a satchel if you don't have a concealed carry permit. So there are still limitations to constitutional open carry in the state of Mississippi, but in the city of Jackson, they do not enforce any portion of that law. So we have to enforce those laws. Then we have to increase our 911 response time. Right now, there's mold growing in the 911 dispatch center. There are dispatch workers that have sent me pictures where they have a whole desk by the window that's covered in mold and they've caution taped it off because it's too dangerous to be around. You know, mold can kill people,
Correct.
and they're having to take these calls. The system's terrible. Then they don't hire professionals. They were using a temp agency to staff the 911 department call center. So I've been told that by the person that's currently directing it works for the Jackson Police Department, and from what I have heard, it's not very good. They say that they lose employees all the time because of the lack of professionalism. So we have residents who call 911 and they don't pick up. I mean,
Mm.
that is insane. You would never dream that in the capital city of Mississippi, you would call 911 and you wouldn't get the phone picked up. So we have to make that efficient. We have to make sure they have a safe place to take these calls, that they are trained properly on how to take these calls and navigate these calls and give the correct information to officers so that officers can have a quick response time. We have to increase funding the JPD. Right now, JPD gets all their funding from the city general fund, and any money they make goes into the general fund. So there's no way to track if this money's actually making it to the police department to do what it's supposed to do. We need money to put in shot detection systems. They are very expensive. You can get into the hundreds of thousands of dollars for just a few, but these shot spotter systems, they can detect for a couple of miles where a shot is coming from. You place those in a few of your higher gun crime areas, and you make it a targeted effort of JPD to where your response time can be in, 2 to 5 minutes. Then you might actually have a chance to capture these people while they're violating the law and actually arrest them and charge them on it. Another thing is illegal dumping, and squatting, where they're burning down buildings, and arson is an issue we're dealing with right now. Again, we got to get more officers on the street right now. A lot of their vehicles are broken, so they might have enough officers for a shift, but not enough cars. So you're still in a position where you can't cover the grounds you need to. My goal is to raise our officer count in the next 4 years to 400, preferably the majority being patrol officers, which also means we have to make sure they're getting paid fairly and paid well, because there's some seasoned officers who are getting paid less than new recruits when these raises came down. So with the fire department as well, making sure they have what they need so they can respond to things correctly. Then on the intervention side, right, on not just crime reduction, but crime prevention. I intend to use, I may use the Office of Violence and Prevention to accomplish this. I may use a different way, but we're going to have to create a task force where their job is to take calls for non-violent domestic situations. Because there's a lot of situations that you don't need to call 911. You need to talk with somebody who is a social worker. You need to talk with somebody who is licensed to help you navigate a conflict resolution in an emotionally charged situation. Because a lot of these disputes that turn violent, they're familial. There are a bunch of folks who know each other and they don't know how to handle their emotions. They don't know how to disagree in a safe and healthy way. And we're wasting valuable police resources on things that really the police are not properly equipped to handle at no fault of their own. Their job is law enforcement. Their job is not to help you navigate your argument with your sister. You see what I'm saying? So
Gotcha.
we have to have people who are equipped to handle those situations. Then on top of that, we have to increase our efforts to reach the youth. One was with workforce development. Another is I want to create family centers. We have the YMCA building that nothing's being done with it. We have community centers and libraries that have been shut down. We have lots of buildings that can be used for my family center idea concept, which is not just a recreational facility, but it's a place where parents can come and get parenting classes, where there can be family and home etiquette taught, where they can learn fiscal management and financial literacy, where they can learn how to be a first-time home buyer and have different educational aspects brought, where they can get quality childcare while they're working, a facility where you can come as a family, because one of my goals is to make Jackson a city where there's a future for families. And I think if we invest on the side of law enforcement and enforcing state law, enforcing panhandling laws, getting these fake homeless people off the street corners so we can address the ones who are actually suffering, who actually need the help, who are struggling with mental illness, who are strung out on drugs and alcohol and need help and need to get into rehab, need to see that someone cares, who are dealing with mental illness when the state started defunding these facilities for mental health during COVID and never replaced that funding and has not held these hospitals and these other facilities for behavioral health accountable for the fact that they're still getting certain funding, but they're not providing those services to the residents of Jackson. These are the things that need to be addressed. And I believe if we take that balanced approach, enforce the law, but also engage the community. I think my goal is to reduce crime of all kinds in Jackson by 25% within my first year. And I truly believe if we make a targeted effort, we can get that accomplished. Your mic's currently muted.
My apologies. Last question. Why should the people of Jackson vote for you?
Well, the first reason I would say is, what is your why? I'm a father and a husband. I have four children and an awesome wife. I'm 27, she's 25. My children are 8, 5, going on 2, going on 1. 3 boys, 1 girl. I want to walk the street and not be afraid for my family. I want my wife to feel safe playing with the children in our own backyard and not feel that she is unsafe. I want her to feel that she can let the boys ride the bike and go down to the park and not feel that they are not safe. I want her to feel like she can stop at a gas station by herself and not be concerned. We have to stop avoiding issues. You can go to almost any city surrounding us, and by and large, you're not afraid to stop at a gas station. You're not afraid to step out and shop on your own because crime is not tolerated in those cities. We have to start taking those things seriously here. And at the same time, those cities don't provide any resources for the homeless. They don't have shelters. They are actually built to really only benefit one group of people. And if you don't have money, it's probably not working very, very well for you. So we have to understand that Jackson has many challenges, but we also have many unique positives about our city. We know that we're capable of more, we're capable of better. So if you would like to maintain the status quo, which we have seen years and decades of neglect, going back even into the 60s and 70s, we saw where during desegregation, funds were diverted from Jackson, from those in the West and the South, and also, let's be real, diverted from the minority communities. And we saw an intentional disinvestment, which led to problems that have never been solved because no intentional work was done to make sure that we brought those people to an even playing field. So while one side of the city was benefiting, another side was having a completely different experience. You can still see the red lines when you drive around the city. So if you want to vote for more of the same, I would encourage you to look into my opponents and my fellow running mates and vote for them because they have not laid out any plan for how they're going to address the disparities. They have not set a comprehensive plan for what they're going to do about many of the known issues. They just campaign saying we need to do something about these issues without ever telling you how they're going to solve those issues. If you go on Zach Servis's website, which is servisformayor.com, you will see a comprehensive plan for everything from littering to animal control. You will see a plan for seniors and veterans. You will see a plan for nursing mothers and birth centers. I just met with 2 doulas who are looking to bring a birth center here to Jackson, to partner with them and find out how can we make that a reality. I'm not waiting till I'm mayor to get things done. Tonight, I attended the first city council meeting that's been held at 6 p.m. since 2019, and I was the one leading the charge for the last 6 months, telling the city council at every council meeting I could, move these meetings back to 6 p.m. so working citizens can come and use their voice. And we saw the biggest turnout in years at tonight's council meeting, and they kicked me out because of this shirt. They wouldn't even let me speak. They told JPD to escort me out tonight and did not
Wow.
allow me to speak. So I'll be looking into suing them for violating my rights to speak during this public council meeting this evening. If you would like to see corruption continue in Jackson, let me tell you, I am not the one to vote for. But if you would like to have a voice in City Hall and you would like to know that when you vote for your mayor, that your mayor is going to hold every single person, including himself, accountable to you and make sure that what your money is sent to do, it's spent to do, then you need to vote for Zach Servis because I believe I'm the only candidate in this race that can provide a comprehensive plan to provide accessibility, accountability, and affordability to every resident of Jackson, regardless of color, creed, political affiliation, and make it a future for families and a city where every dream has a home. And if that sounds like the Jackson that you would like to live in and the leadership that you would like to have, then I'm asking you and I am begging you, make a decision not just for the problems now, but for the future we're building ahead. Vote for Zach Servis on June 3rd and let your voice be heard.
Well said. If people want to ask additional questions or make a donation to your campaign, how can they get in contact with you?
So you can go to my website, servisformayor.com. That's Servis, servisformayor.com. And there's a donate page. There's a place to sign up and volunteer. You can also send it to my Cash App, Servis for Mayor. It's the number for Servis for Mayor. That information is also on my Facebook page. You can reach out to me on Facebook under my name, Zach Servis, ZachServis. You can text me 769-233-5969, and you can request a phone call as well. We can meet in person. I don't hide. I'm out here in the city. I'm easy to find. Pretty much any way. You can email me, Zach@mayorzachservice.com. Any platform pretty much you can find me on. They banned me on Nextdoor indefinitely for spam. So you can't find me on Nextdoor anymore, but you can talk to me on almost any other social media platform. I am more than happy to conversate with you. You can ask me the toughest questions possible. As long as you're respectful, I'll be happy to answer them.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Zach Servis, who is running for mayor for Jackson, Mississippi. Zach, thank you for your time. Best of luck to you and your campaign.
Thank you, Julian. I appreciate you.